we have been the pioneers, and I feel very proud that we've done this for everybody and patients, clinicians, and I've been privileged to be here and do that.
My name is Lori Levine. I've been seeing Dr. Rosenthal for more than 15 years. I used to see an optometrist who focused on individuals with low vision in Boston. During our conversations, he would casually mention Dr. Rosenthal as somebody who was a true expert in the field and who he often saw at conferences. I was living in New York at the time and traveling to Boston to see this doctor. And after I had my children, it didn't particularly make sense for me to travel for my appointments. I decided that I would try Dr. Rosenthal and never turn back.
I'm Bob Israel. I have retinitis pigmentosa, which is a progressive disease that at this time is not yet curable. But I wanted to do everything I could to slow its progression. I had already been up to Dr. Elliot Burston, who discovered this a slowing process by taking vitamin A at a big dose. And I wanted to do everything else I could, and that's why I wanted to meet Dr. Rosenthal. I think I've known Dr. Rosenthal for over 20 years.
April Goley. I have Stargardt's disease, which is a slow progressive eye decrease, and I had it at age 8. I was diagnosed at age 8. I have known Dr. Rosenthal since the late 80s. My visits with Dr. Rosenthal always stay in my mind of his kindness, patience, and sense of humor.
My name is Dr. Andrea Zimmerman. I perform low vision evaluations on patients that have vision impairment, and we use special low vision devices, and I recommend special services for people with impaired vision to help them lead well-rounded, functional lives. I met Dr. Rosenthal originally 35 years ago. I can't believe that's 35 years. He was my professor at SUNY College of Optometry. And then I was fortunate enough to begin working at Lighthouse, then what was Lighthouse, with him. And I have worked with him for the past 30 years.
I initially came to see Dr. Rosenthal because I wanted to have somebody local follow my vision needs and somebody who was on top of the research be able to offer suggestions where they were applicable. When Dr. Rosenthal would come out to greet me, it was like seeing an old friend. Dr. Rosenthal has always made me feel like a person, not simply a patient.
A good friend who's an ophthalmologist, knowing my condition, said, "Why don't you call Bruce Rosenthal?" I said, "Call the head of the Lighthouse?" But I did, and made an appointment, and instead of being intimidated, from the first moment, I was warmly greeted and made to feel relaxed, and felt I was on the way, to a not only helpful, but a very good relationship.
He would help me understand that I needed a larger or a more intense magnification. And then once that ended, so my vision got worse, he also then described a CCTV, which was very, very helpful. And then the next step in my life, when I had to change my low vision devices, it was more, he introduced me to the sunglasses that would block out the sun, which made a big difference for me.
I learned many things from Dr. Rosenthal that influenced my development and my role as a low vision optometrist. I think the most important thing that I learned from him was to gain the patient's perspective on how they were functioning. And we would have long conversations about patients that had small areas of healthy retina that they used to be able to see, to be able to function. Or we would talk about different patients that had poor contrast sensitivity. And again, what we could do for patients to really improve their functioning, what devices, what services would be helpful for them. And it really gave me a perspective of how the person sees. That was really the most important thing, to put myself in their shoes as much as possible, to really gain insight as to what they're seeing, how they're seeing, and what I can do to make things better.
He would spend time during each visit just connecting. We would talk about family, we would talk about travel, we would talk about running. We would share photos on our phones and on our iPads. Dr. Rosenthal is an impressive photographer. He would ask me about what I was doing. He would ask about my work. He would ask about what sports I was participating in. He was curious about triathlon and skiing and mountain biking. I could tell that in the back of his mind, he was always considering, what can I do to help Lori?
I've always felt with Dr. Rosenthal that I was more than a patient. He has always exuded a warmth and caring that, went far beyond what you might think a doctor-patient relationship should be. And always made me feel that he really was concerned about my best interest.
I felt very comfortable and felt that I was in good hands because he had the most up-to-date understanding and technical devices that would help somebody with my eye condition.
We both used to come in very early in the morning, and we would discuss, different patients that we had seen, and, what would be the best route to how to manage them. But in addition to that, he would always encourage me to how important it is to educate other optometrists, other ophthalmologists about the art and practice of low vision. He always encouraged me to speak publicly about low vision and to become a fellow of the American Academy of Optometry.
Given how worldly Dr. Rosenthal is and that he has worked in New York City for decades, I find his small-town doctor way of connecting with others to be the one quality that made my visits particularly memorable.
Dr. Rosenthal has always, addressed my concerns in the most progressive manner. First of all, he prescribed a certain type of glasses that have been really helpful to me, and I think helped slow the progression of my RP. He's kept me informed of the research going on, had me seeing a doctor who was doing gene research. He also always assured me that any real advancement he would make me aware of very quickly. And that has been very comforting.
The one situation where he was particularly insightful was after I had spinal surgery. When I woke up from the procedure, my vision was more blurry than usual. Neither the surgeon or the doctor on the medical team had any idea what was causing the issue. I called Dr. Rosenthal. He told me to come over to his office. I checked out of the hospital and went straight to his office. When I sat down, he reached behind my ear and removed a small patch. It was a scopolamine patch, he explained, and must have been placed there after the surgery to prevent nausea. One unintended side effect of the scopolamine patch is that it stopped the movement in my eyes, which was natural for me. I have a nystagmus and my eyes searched to see. By giving my body medication that stopped the movement of my eyes, I also was not able to see. Dr. Rosenthal assured me that within a couple of days, my vision would be back to my baseline. Dr. Rosenthal was always helpful to me, but it was his care in this one circumstance that really stands out.
I always felt that when I walked into his office, relaxed. I always felt that I was doing something good for myself by seeing him. And I always felt that way when I left his office.
He was what we call a mensch. I am doing, what he encouraged me and he encouraged all of us to do, again, in terms of always being aware of new ophthalmological research, new treatments, new ways of taking care of patients in low vision, new devices, new services. I'm so happy that we have the technology department because we have so many people that require help with technology, and I know Dr. Rosenthal was very big on that as well. And just going forward.
It is clear that Dr. Rosenthal has dedicated himself to helping others who have limited vision.
I would hope that Dr. Rosenthal could sit back on his front porch, maybe with a drink, and reflect on all the people that he's helped through his career. I think he's achieved a tremendous amount that he should be very, very proud of.
I always said that Dr. Rosenthal is the master, just because he did so much for this profession, and I'm just so grateful, for everything that he's taught us and shared with us, and for just, for his warmth and, just for him being him.
Dr. Rosenthal, I'm going to wish you all the best in your new chapter of life, and you deserve it because your dedication of helping people who have low vision or blindness has been phenomenal, and we will all miss you very much.
Thank you for getting to know me as a person and for sharing so much about yourself with me. Best of luck to you.
I'd just like to say thank you.